Welcome to Modern Goddess. Here we discuss everything mastering your mindset, wellness wisdom, upgrading your relationships so that you can unleash your divine goddess essence and live your authentic best self every single day. I'm your host, Cassie Aurora. Welcome back to the podcast. We're going to do something a little bit different today. I wanted to bring you your full moon forecast as a video because I'm trying to spread my content across different platforms, and I thought some of you might appreciate a video. So here I am. I've got a hot water bottle in my top because I'm a little bit cold, so bear with me if I look like all lumpy and strange. And I'm also on my bouncy ball because those of you who are new to the podcast, you'll not know that I am in my 25th week of pregnancy, and so I do quite like sitting on my bouncy ball when I've got loads of work on, and today is one of those days. But I'm super excited today to bring you the full moon forecast for the full moon in Leo, which is the 28th of January. It's going to be a culminating point for sure. But before we get into it, I just want to share with you that I have my abundance and business astrology webinar. This is specifically for people that are already entrepreneurs or people that want to start their own business who are really looking for their own unique roadmap to abundance. Your astrology chart literally has a unique set of indicators that really show your unique strengths. In this is your blockages to abundance, your roadmap to abundance, so specific practical steps you can take to increase your income, your career gifts, your hidden talents. They're all there in the chart. As well, we're going to look at how to actually work in alignment with your unique energy so you're not wasting energy. One of the things that we often think as entrepreneurs and people starting out in business is if we want to create a great income and be financially free and have a self-sustaining business, then we need to work really hard, and that we need to break our backs, have tons of followers, be offering something totally unique and off the wall, and that's not always true. And so we go into your astrology as one of these tools, how you can actually work in alignment with your energy and work smarter, not harder, because I am in human design a projector, and I can't work that hard. Like, I have to, if you ask Alex, he'll tell you I need to rest a lot. And if I try and work too much, my business actually goes backwards. If I didn't know my astrology and my energy type, I would really worry, because you know how society is, like hustle culture, the 5 a.m. club, this whole hustle. I cannot do that. That's like literally not something I can do. I have to work in a completely different way. Having my astrology helped me really confirm that, and it was just one little thing, but it also helped me see abstract karmic blockages to my finances. For me, it was working on my relationship with my own dad that actually opened up my finances. I would not have known this without astrology. Yes, we can do meditation, tarot, any other form of divination. We can reflect deeply. We can take time for stillness. But astrology is one of these tools that cuts straight to the core. So in this webinar, you are going to learn, even if you know absolutely no astrology, how to read your chart and how to really be able to see those things for yourself so that you can thrive in business and create effortless abundance according to your energy without breaking your back doing it. So if you want to be on that webinar, you can head to the show notes if you're listening to the podcast. If you're watching this video, it's in my Instagram bio in the link. or if this is posted on YouTube, which I'm not sure yet, I'll put that link below the video. So head over to that, because I have an early bird offering which is only available until the 3rd of February. And then after that, the cost will go up. So invest in this webinar. I know you're going to love it. It's 3 hours of content. We're going to meet and chat, and I'm going to share with you why your astrology is so powerful if you haven't already had a reading. So let's get into the full moon forecast, because that is what you're here for. And I am not going to go into it for all 12 signs, just because you know, that will take a long time. And this energy, if you were to listen back to my 2021 forecast for all 12 signs, which I did about the 21st of December, to that episode on my podcast, you will then have, basically, this is a culmination of that energy. So there's loads of things going on right now, and there's a lot of heightened energy. Everyone's telling me that they can feel it, and you wouldn't be wrong. I did say a couple of weeks ago that these are the most intense 2 weeks of 2021, and I still stand by that. It really kicked off from the 6th of January, and that was when we saw the Capitol building, I can't remember what it's called, that man in the kind of YMCA costume. That was the manifestation of this energy. Now, what you want to think about is, rather than kind of, you know, pointing the fingers outwards and blaming, really the events that are happening on the world stage are a reflection of our inner consciousness. They couldn't happen if we were not in a vibrational match to that. And so when we use astrology as a map, as a tool, I urge you not to be like blaming the chart and blaming the planets, but to understand it's a reflection of us, and it's asking us to look at things that we need to see in order to grow and evolve. And I know that you want to evolve into your best self, the same as me, and the best thing we can do is to take responsibility for ourselves and to look at the planets as guides, as different ways that God, universe, source is showing himself to you, and how that you can use that for inner reflection. So I have a really good one of my favorite tarot readers, actually, she's coming on the podcast. She's a Beta Lumen on Instagram, but she always says, let's deepen our self-inquiry, and I think that's such a good way to look at it. So the message I have for you this full moon is to deepen your self-inquiry. So I'm going to share my screen so that you can see the chart. So you're going to see in front of you now, if astrology charts mean nothing to you, please do not worry. I'm just showing you, because if you look at this chart in front of you, you'll see there's lots of red lines, and the red lines in astrology are the conflicting energies. They're not bad. People call them bad aspects and good aspects. They're not inherently bad or good. They are literally you know, more difficult. They are more opposing, they are more conflicting, and this is why people actually feel frustration. They feel a sense of being really triggered. They feel a sense of explosiveness. They feel like a building up of energy. You know, some people have said, oh, I'm getting a headache and all sorts of stuff, and we're feeling it because the energy is, quite frankly, building. But when there's these kind of energies, it really means the potential for change is huge. And you can see here, you've got the moon opposite the sun, and this is what makes a full moon. So the full moon is going to be, like I said, in Leo, because the moon's in Leo, and full moons are traditionally a culminating point, a heightened energy. Remember that the moon is dark unless the sun is shining on it. So the moon is representing a lot of hidden subconscious stuff for us. And when it's in Leo, it can mean a lot of things, because it really depends on your personal unique astrology chart. The people that will feel this the most will be people with placements in Leo, people who are Aquarius or Taurus or Scorpio, you're generally going to feel this a lot more than other people. So we have kind of this. Now, there's a lot of ways we can talk about this, but I want to talk about it in a way that will help you on a personal level. So I'm not going to look at all the collective stuff. This is just my interpretation. If it doesn't resonate, leave it. And you know, there are many other astrologers out there, but we have this heightening of the energy that's going on in Aquarius and in Leo and in Taurus. So what does that even mean? Well, the Aquarius energy that's happening right now is this brand new 20-year cycle. It's an area in life where we realize that what has been before, all these systems, and because Saturn and Jupiter are there. Saturn represents old, outdated systems. It represents authority, structures, fears, limitations, blockages, karma. And it's starting to mop up karma in this area of your life. The potential for healing is huge in this area, depending where it is in your chart. But right now, it can feel like a big blockage and a big heavy burden somewhere, or a big feeling of fear because of some area that you now have to move forward in self-mastery and real true responsibility, some area in your life which may feel for some people very fearsome, like you're not ready, and that energy is building now. So this feeling of like, I'm not ready for this, I don't know how to move forward. And then with this Uranus and Taurus, and Uranus the planet in Taurus and Mars in Taurus, we're kind of, I'm going to take the chart down now, we're feeling the frustration of like wanting to shake up the status quo, wanting to, you know, kind of shake up everything we've known, at the same time as trying to restructure a different area in our life. And these areas won't necessarily be working in harmony. They're two conflicting areas, but it's feeling like for a lot of people like the desire to break through, and like, I want to be there now, I want to be there yesterday, I know where I want to be, I'm getting all these insights and downloads and inspiration, but it's all in the head. It's not necessarily happening in the material. So there's this feeling of needing to slowly shift something without rushing. There's this feeling of being restricted in the old when we see so much of the new and all the faults with the old systems we have in place. You may be, as I'm talking, thinking, yeah, I can see how this is playing out in the world. But remember, the world is a reflection of you. So looking out there might be helpful, but it's not bringing you the deep change that you could truly make. Real true change starts from the inside and then starts to filter on the outside. That's not to say that outside isn't reflecting and then helping us be triggered into growth. And so this Leo energy, to me, the Leo energy has always been about exaggeration, showing up and being seen, and being recognized. It's like, you know, the theatrical person. So if we think of astrology like a stage, we've got some big characters on the stage, and they've all got very fixed storylines, and they don't necessarily match. You've got the storyline of the Aquarius, you know, he's got his storyline of, I'm, you know, going to break through these structures. I'm on a slow path to clearing my karma. I'm restructuring carefully. I'm going to think about the big changes I want to make, but I'm slowly getting there. And he's like quite steady. He's, you know, it's authoritarian and strict, and Jupiter's kind of in that story as well with Saturn, and then they're kind of quite serious, and Jupiter's like, right, come on, let's you know, we're gonna really create some healing here. And there's a bit of optimism there, there's a bit of off and get and go. So that's like one storyline, and that would be enough on one stage. But on the same stage, you've got Uranus and Mars, which are the planets of revolution, rebellion, the hoi polloi, you know, the young people, the entrepreneurs, the dynamic go-getting energy. and it's kind of like got its whole other story where it's like, I'm going to shake up everything and rebel, and that's a whole other story on its own, where that's all encompassing. You know, we're seeing changes in the money system, we're seeing changes in the food supply. That's all going to shift over this year, and it's being highlighted now, so we're feeling it. And that's another show all of its own on the same stage. So imagine you're in the audience and you're kind of trying to watch both at the same time. It's already a challenge, right? Because you're going to miss parts of the story, or like, these don't go together. I've only paid to see one show, and there's two separate shows going simultaneously. But now we have another show on the same stage. So now we have the show of drama and dramatics. This is the moon in Leo, the full moon. And what can happen is, all that the Leo show is coming on stage to do is get a big light and go, hey, look at me. And it's like illuminating all of this stuff that was hidden, that we hadn't seen. He'd been waiting in the wings for the last 2 weeks. So there's lots going on the stage of life. We're feeling it. And don't get me wrong, like, I love a dramatic thing on stage, but if I was watching a show and there was just too much going on that I just couldn't, it was like nothing was cohesive, it just wouldn't be great. And this is what the energy is kind of saying. So this isn't about you know, this isn't one of these energies that is necessarily going to you know, be a disaster, but it's one of these where we need to slow down and quieten down, and we don't want to take hasty action. I feel like I keep saying this, but it's really important. We want to show up in our authenticity, but really avoid the dramatic. So if you're someone that gets really quickly aggravated and triggered and pulled into an argument, and you don't want to waste that energy right now, then I would stay off social media. If you're someone that wants to make changes in your business, I would say be prepared for it to be slow. This is all well and good, but we haven't even spoke about the elephant in the room, which is going to be kicking off pretty much straight after full moon, which is the Mercury retrograde. So I've written a whole written a blog post on this, and I'll talk about it more later in the week, but that's again going to be a slowing down energy. So there's so much slow energy which is conflicting with all the fast energy, and they don't match. So with the Mercury retrograde coming in, we're again going to experience maybe some setbacks, some difficulties, some challenges, depending what area of life it is. You know, I said to one of my friends in a reading about her Mercury retrograde and getting certain things in order, and sure as hell she had issues when it came round. And it's like we have to work with it. So with Mercury retrograde, I'd strongly suggest, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a you know, working online, back everything up. Be sure, if you're driving out and about, to be very careful with your vehicles, be very careful with electronics. It really depends on the house in your chart. Some people will feel this strongly and others not so much. But one thing I think that will happen is there's going to be a lot of kind of drama out there on the world stage, and to stay anchored in the here and now is essential in this full moon. This is not a time to be launching new projects. This is not a time, you know, remember all those red lines in the chart. This isn't a time for new beginnings, new relationships, new anything really. This is a time for resolving, integrating different kind of energies and trying to marry them all together. And, you know, for example, if you're feeling like you've kind of wanting to set up your business in a different way, you're feeling, oh, I've got this new spark of energy in my business, and I know that's what I want to do, and yet you have all these old systems set up. How can you responsibly make that move, responsibly serve your current clients as you make that shift? If you're feeling sudden insights and downloads, take a moment to see what sticks. There's no need to act straight away. If you're a projector and you're getting really excited about something, for example, you're in projector energy, and you suddenly go out there like trying to force it on people, remember that's not going to help. And this energy is a forceful energy. We can get swept up, we can exaggerate the truth, we can manipulate and perhaps lie. The same thing as we can see that out there in the collective. So be very, very careful as you go through this full moon and this next week. Things are not, things aren't terrible, but they're not necessarily always as they seem. There will be a lot of inflation, a lot of exaggeration, perhaps drama, arguments, all of those things, which we don't need. The higher vibration of this is to truly start to understand difference and diversity, and where everything has its place. Uniqueness is extremely important. If we were all in our individual strengths and following our individual true paths according to our astrology chart, or our true meaning, we would then actually fit into the tapestry of life. I often say this, but this is why I'm a proponent of individualism, because I think if we truly take responsibility for ourselves, we can't point the finger of blame. We step into sovereignty. So this is a time to appreciate individualism, in the sense that if you are an individual who is like, I want to be respected for my views, where is it it's like, well, it's not okay that they believe in diet culture, or where is it that it's not okay that they don't have the same lifestyle as you? If these are examples that I've seen so far where it's like, if it's not one thing, therefore it must be bad. What about, not everything is good, but there is a little bit of wisdom and truth in everything. It just depends what angle we're looking at. So this really is a time to embrace difference, to embrace uniqueness, embrace our own uniqueness, not to get swept up in eccentricity and trying and being somewhat inauthentic just for attention. Take time, slow down and reflect, and I'm sure you will navigate this with ease and with grace. One last thing I will say is, all of this conflicting energy, the only kind energy, which is so subtle and it really requires you to tap in, is that we have these planets in a sextile with Neptune. Not all of them, but some of them. And this is a tremendous opportunity, really, with this Neptune sextile, to tap into deep meditation. These can be meditations that elevate you to a higher source of consciousness, anything that is a healthy escapism. Avoid any unhealthy escapism. But there is the opportunity here to really spiritually connect to something deeper, to, I hate the term shadow work, but for the sake of today, if all of this stuff is intense, what is it showing up for you, deep down, and how can you connect to source, connect to God, whatever your own practices are that make you feel that you're transcending somewhat. Now is actually a good time for that. It's not escapism completely, but definitely a time to get in that spiritual energy. You can take a hot bath, you can do a little magic ritual. Don't take action, like I say. It's just a time to connect and reflect and be in your privacy. Escape, make a little retreat, take some time off over this weekend and just really relax. I know it's not possible for everyone, but see if you can even get someone to have the kids for an hour whilst you take a hot warm bath with some nice essential oils. You might feel the need that you were meant to be somewhere or have done something like yesterday, but really just slow and steady wins the race. Take time to connect, be in that spiritual energy, and I'm sure that you will feel wonderful after this full moon passes. But it's an intense energy. Just be careful. Don't go out there, driving like a lunatic and all of that stuff, because it's an accident prone, strange energy. And, the expression lunatic literally comes from the moon, the full moon. We see more just heightened emotions at this time because the sun is eliminating, you know, Chandra. Chandra is like cheat in Vedic astrology, the moon, but it's known as deceptive and cheating because it's what we can't see in ourselves. So just be aware that that's happening right now. So it's quite exciting times. We also have Venus conjunct Pluto, which just look out for any kind of deep intense connections, some opportunity to go deeper into relationships. You might see it as like greed around money, anything like that, but that's really a flash in the pan energy compared to this deeper energy. There's a lot we could talk about for longer, but I don't want to keep you because I know that your time is precious. And I just wanted to let you know and to remind you that if you want to sign up for that astrology career and business webinar, even if you haven't started your business yet, if you know nothing about astrology, or if your business is well established, you will gain a lot from this webinar. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful, where are we now, weekend. And let me know what you think of this podcast. Please share it, like, subscribe. Subscribe to the podcast if you want more free content like this, and I will speak with you soon. Goodbye.